everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you all are back here for another wedding video. Today I'm going to be showing you all my hair and makeup routine for my wedding day. I'm so excited to share this with you all. I know that this is something that people really look for when it comes to your wedding because it's something that you want to be perfect, but it can definitely be a challenge. So I'm going to try my best to show you all exactly what I did. I am going to show you my hair as well. Now, I know for the hair, a lot of times people like to hire other people to do it. They don't really do it themselves. So whatever works for you, you do you. It doesn't matter. So first of all, I'm going to show you a couple products that I use to get ready for the big day, or like skincare that I'm not going to really show you in this routine. As a disclaimer, I do know that this could be a very long video because I want to show you all in depth. But if you all are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope that you all find this very interesting. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe. I'd love to have you here. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. So my skincare for my wedding was pretty simple, nothing like intense or anything. The cleanser that I use, this is actually a skin resurfacing cleanser. I use this probably every month up until whenever I got this, and that was like quite a while ago. So I definitely used this weeks before the wedding, leading up to the wedding. This is just the Dermalogica Age Smart Skin Resurfacing Cleanser. It says that this is dual action exfoliating cleanser, helps retexturize skin. Then I like to use this Kiehl's Ultra Facial Toner. This is just a gentle toner. It helps hydrate and comfort your skin, and it's for all skin types. That is what I used as my toner all the way. I still use it now. The bottle is barely empty. It lasts for a very long time. I'm not going to go too in depth on my skincare regimen because that could probably be a video in and of itself. My moisturizer that I use now and I've used since January, and it's lasted this long. This is the 8.4 fluid ounce bottle, and it's lasted me so long. This is also from Kiehl's, and it's the Ultra Facial Moisturizer. I've used this since college, and I really like it. I actually like the cleanser that goes with this too, but I use it every single day, so that like runs out really quick. So and I haven't repurchased it yet. So that was my skincare. One other thing is I did do whitening strips before the wedding for my teeth because I drink a lot of coffee and they can get pretty dull quickly. I used the Crest 3D White No Slip White Strips. This is the Dental Whitening Kit, enamel safe. It says it removes 5 years of tough set and stains. So I used this like a few days leading up to the wedding, like consistently, and I really liked the results. My teeth aren't super sensitive, but I know that sometimes if you have sensitive gums and stuff, these might affect that a little bit, but mine did fine. Yeah, so I got those as well. So that was kind of like my beauty regimen leading up to the wedding. Now we're gonna get into my actual routine. I have already used the toner and the moisturizer on my face, which is what I did for the wedding day. And now I'm going to pin my hair back. I'm using like this little clip that you can get like at Sally's or wherever, and some toilet paper so it doesn't crease my hair. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the POREfessional all over my face. That's what I did. And I will say that I had my eyebrows waxed a lot better than they are now. I haven't had them waxed since then. I've plucked them a little bit, but they're definitely more in shape. And one other thing that is very important, I had eyelash extensions, and let me tell you, if I would recommend anything that I have here today, I would recommend eyelash extensions. They completely transform your face. They are gorgeous, so worth the money, and so especially for something special like your wedding day, highly recommend eyelash extensions. I don't have them today. They have all fallen out since then, and I haven't got them refilled. So I will put on some fake lashes, but let me tell you, the eyelash extensions are so natural, and they are just absolutely transforming and gorgeous. So try those out if you can. They're great. So I'm going to put on the POREfessional mainly in my T-zone where my larger pores are. Since it was my wedding day in particular, I did start with my eyes first because I thought it was really important in case I had fallout. I didn't want it smeared and not be able to get rid of it. I use the Too Faced Shadow Insurance 24-Hour Anti-Crease Eyeshadow Primer. This is what I do to prep my eyelids. It's very important because they can crease easily. And I have really oily eyelids, so this is gonna be a big deal for especially on your wedding day when it's like a really long day. So just smear that all over the eyes. So what I do next is I like to use this MAC Pro Longwear Concealer only on my eyes. I use a different concealer under my eyes just because it's more creamier and I just like the look of it a little bit better than this one under my eyes. But this has a built-in like eye primer kind of. I still use the eye primer under it, but the reason why I really like to use this over top is because I have really bad veins throughout my eyes. They're very visible, so I really want to hide those for my wedding day, and you just need a little tiny pump, like maybe that. So just want to cover up all those, and I just use my finger to like spread it out. So now we're gonna get to the eyeshadow. Just gonna mention I did use a few different palettes. So the two that I used in particular for my wedding day was the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette, which looks like this. I used some of these shades, and then I used my Morphe 35N palette. I used some of these shades. So the first thing I'm gonna do is put a light shade all over my lid, just once again to make sure that all those veins are hidden and to just kind of provide a base for it. This is the color Skimp. I'm just putting that all over the lid. The next color is, this one is called Stark. It's just a little bit darker. It's the perfect crease, like transition shade. I really like this one. And then another shade a little bit darker is this Anaheim shade. It's a little bit gray, a little bit brown, but I really like this one for it. And then the same thing, but closer to the crease, not as far up. Like, yeah, right in that corner, blend it over. The brush that I'm using is the Morphe M441 brush. This brush is everything. If I would recommend one brush, it's this one. It blends incredibly. I could not recommend another brush that would be any better than this. Like, I would say if this is the only one you could have, get this one. This is called a base shadow brush, and this is from Real Techniques. You can get it at like Ulta or Walmart or Target. So it's kind of fluffy, but it's really good to not, it doesn't pack too much, but it doesn't blend too much, so it adds a perfect amount. So I'm gonna go in with Serious from the same Gwen Stefani palette, but I'm gonna make sure I knock a lot of that excess off. And just very lightly go into the corner. And like the crease, very lightly. I don't want this to be my main dark shade, if that makes sense. I just want it to help darken it up just a little bit. So from my Morphe palette, I'm going to use this like maroon shade. I want to use maroon because it's not as harsh as black, but it still gives you that deep look, and I think this was key for my wedding makeup look. And the brush that I'm using is just this like tapered eyeshadow brush. It allows you to pack it but still blend it, so I just think it's perfect for this. I'm gonna go like this, and then I'm gonna kind of bring it up and back in. And then I'm gonna blend it all into that corner. You see the definition that adds, and I love the color and the tone of that. All right, and then I'm just gonna go back in and kind of blend that out, of course. And I just now dipped it back into this shade, which is the Anaheim shade, just to kind of blend it out here again. Just to keep making sure everything is well blended. So now that I have like the main look, I did go back and put a little bit of the Skimp, the really light shade, back onto the center of my lid. So I'll show you. Let me find a brush. I'll just use this one again. Like right here. Just to make sure that's really highlighted in the middle and the corners, because I don't want this makeup look to be too dark. And I'm also gonna put that same Skimp color on my brow bone. I didn't use any mascara at all. I ended up not using it on my top lashes, and I used just a little teeny bit of eyeliner. So I'll go ahead and do that. This is the Bobbi Brown gel liner in black ink. This is known to last a really long time, and I would agree. I didn't have any problems with it, so I think you'll be safe if you use this and you end up crying or whatever. It's definitely long wear, and I didn't have any issues with it. So I'm just doing a very simple line because remember my eyelashes were big and full. I didn't really need much. All right, so that is a pretty good start. Now I'm gonna do my eyebrows, and I will come back to finish up my eyes and really shape and make sure they're perfect once I'm finished with the rest of my face. So for my eyebrows, I actually used 2 products. You don't have to use both of these. It's definitely optional. You could definitely just use one or the other. I'll tell you why I used 2 different ones, and it would only be for my wedding. I happen to have both these. So I had the Brow Definer, which is by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and both of my colors are in soft brown. So I have the Brow Definer and the Brow Wiz. I really wanted the Brow Wiz because it's more precise, and I wanted to make sure that it was well blended and very natural looking for my wedding day instead of being too thick, which is the only thing. It could be a little bit of a problem with the Brow Definer. So I ended up using both. I used the Brow Definer for the thicker parts up here, and the Wiz for more of right here to make sure I got a really good blend. So I'm going to start out with the Brow Wiz. Now I'm going to take the Brow Definer and just kind of fill it in a little bit more. I'm almost out of this. I don't know how good it's going to do, but just kind of fill it in toward the end where it looks better when it's thicker. You don't want to get the inside too thick. That's when it starts to look a little fake. All right, I think they look pretty good, pretty natural. I did that before I did my foundation because it could be hard for the product to stay put all day if you have foundation under it. Now I'm gonna get right into the actual base makeup. So the first thing that I did was I also added another primer. I used the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. So this is in the shade, I don't think there's a shade. So I used this after I did my Professional because I wanted that glowy look. And this definitely gives you that more radiant, shimmery effect without being too much. So I'm gonna put that all over, and I really like to put it like on the high points in particular, and then kind of just all right, so I don't know if you all can tell, but that just adds a little bit more shimmer and glow to your face. Next is my foundation. So what I used, of course, is the NARS Sheer Glow. This is my tried and true. I absolutely love it. I'm not gonna use something that I don't know or trust for my wedding day. So I use this one, and I'm in the shade Mont Blanc Light 2. So I use just like a buffing brush. This is Real Techniques. And I just put it all over. Next up is my concealer. So the concealer that I used is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Chantilly. I love this stuff because it's so creamy. It doesn't really crease, and it's the perfect color. It's light enough for me to really brighten. And yeah, I just love how creamy it is. I like to bring it up on the nose a little bit. Down here because I get red. I think this is good to use for pimples as well because it's very creamy but not too thick. So I just use this same buffing brush and just go in and press that into the skin. Next is something that I'm a little about. I use the Ben Nye Luxury Powder to set underneath my eyes for my wedding day. The reason why I use this was because if you use like a transparent powder and you have any flash photography throughout the night, it can show like really bad, like really white. I do not suggest baking with a transparent powder because it can definitely show up in flash photography. I think it's okay to dust it all over your face, but when you're packing a lot of it on, it definitely shows up. It's happened to me and it looks horrible. So I got this Ben Nye, it's the Banana Luxury Powder. I don't know if it comes in different colors. I kind of heard that it did, and I think that's my problem. This is a little bit too orangey for me, but I used it. I don't think it's bad, but I definitely think I could use a lighter color. I know that the effect is that it is the yellow, but I just think it needs to be a little bit lighter for me. But I do think it is essential to put it underneath the eyes. It's a great powder for that. So, but if you watch, Like, I think it looks good. It definitely gives it that smooth finish, but it does darken it just a tad. It's not really so bad if you just watch the amount you put on there. I think I'm just so used to it being so bright, even though, look, it's still bright. I just was like, oh my gosh, it took away from the brightness, but actually it makes you look so smooth. So anywhere you put that concealer, I would recommend putting this powder on it. See, I don't think it darkened it too much. I think it doesn't really look like it, but if you're like me and you want it like super bright under your eyes, you might think it looks really dark. You want to go in with a little bit of transparent powder. I wanted to, at least. It's translucent white, like translucent powder. It doesn't really show up, but I like to just dust it around a little bit. Trust me, you want to be light-handed with this. You don't want to pack it too much or it will show. Next is contouring. The contouring powder that I used is a bronzer, but I also used it for contouring as well, and it is the Hoola Benefit. I didn't want anything too crazy again for my wedding day, but this is the perfect natural, but you can still get the look that you want and the contour you want. So I use this. First, I start out by really getting it dark and contouring. You want it the darkest right there. That's where you want it the darkest. And then from there, you just blend it out. And a couple other spots that I really wanted to do. I had a strapless dress, so I did like down my neck right here, which adds just a little bit of like a more defined neck. And then I did a little bit like underneath my collarbone. I'm not gonna do like it, but I think it looks good there too. So the only other place is really on my nose. And I do the tip as well, maybe a little bit on the bridge. So for my blush, I used another Morphe palette. This is Morphe Brushes palette 9B, and this is the blush palette. So it comes with like a bunch of different colors. Ooh. And the one that I used was, pretty sure the middle one, with a little bit, yeah, was the middle one. You really want to make sure you have enough blush for it to show up in pictures, but not too much to where it's like clown status. The highlighter that I used was, of course, my Mary Luminizer by The Balm. I think if you want a good highlight that's not too like intense, then this is what you're going to want to use. It's just a very natural highlight, but still intense enough to look really good. So I use the same brush that I use for my blush. I just kind of like flip it over. And then I take mine right up here. I definitely wanted a nice highlight to really have that glowy skin look. And then down the bridge of the nose. And I wanted to put a little bit on my, right on my lip. So that is all for the base makeup. The other thing, or now back to the eyes. The only other thing I really did with my eyes was make sure that I had a good line underneath it. So I definitely didn't want to leave it plain because I do want a little bit of a contourish look. So I went back in with the Morphe palette in that maroon-like shade. And I'm using like a pencil brush kind of. I'm just going underneath my eye. And you want to blend that out. So if you go back in with that maroon shade just a little bit, you want to make sure that you keep it concentrated to that gel line and just a little bit into the hollows of your eye. That's where I really wanted to keep the intensity. Now I'm gonna put a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes. The one that I use is this Clinique Lash Doubling Mascara because it's really got that little wand that I can get in there really well. For my mascara, as I mentioned, I'm putting on lashes now. If you don't get eyelash extensions, I ended up putting, I don't think I put any mascara on my lash extensions just because I was afraid if I started crying that it would go everywhere. So if you end up using eyelashes, like fake eyelashes, you're gonna wanna put a little bit of waterproof mascara on, like this. This is the Tarte one. I love Tarte mascara. The waterproof isn't as great, but everybody knows you need waterproof when it comes to weddings. The lashes that I really like are the Ardell Studio Effects lashes. I did have to trim mine. I have worn before. I had to trim mine a little bit because they're too big for my eyes, but these are very dramatic if that's the effect you want for your wedding day. Alright, so those are my Ardell lashes. As always, that's a good option too if you don't want to do the whole eyelash extensions. But trust me, doing eyelashes on the day of your wedding could be super stressful and very hard to do. So just be wary of that. So the only thing left is my lips, and I'm going to show you the combo that I used. Again, I wanted to keep it natural since the eyes are more intense. The lipstick I used is Cream Sheen Cream Cup by MAC. So it's a cream sheen. It has that glossy look. You don't have to add lip gloss if you don't want to. And I used the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Lip Pencil in the color Naked 2. I love, love, love that new look. And that is my lip look. So this is my wedding makeup look. One other thing that I did do that I am now out of is I set it all with a makeup setting spray. I use the Urban Decay De Slick setting spray. It's really great. I definitely think you should use that on the day of your wedding as well. It definitely just ties everything in and helps set it and make it look very glowy as well. Definitely a must if you're gonna do, if you're doing your own makeup as well. So this is my makeup look. I hope that you all like this. I hope that it inspires you for your wedding and gives you kind of a good idea. I got many compliments. Also, a couple tips: make sure you get your photographer to snap a few pictures with flash to make sure there's no like anything that you would not want when it flashes. Don't use a moisturizer with SPF. That could be a problem as well. You could get some glares or whatever they call it. So be wary of that as well. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and do my hair. So for my hair, I kept it very simple. This is the part I just wanted it volumized and I wanted curls. So what I did was I teased it just a little bit. I used the Garnier Fructis hairspray. I don't have any of that right now. I am out. But one thing in particular, I have talked about this before. It is the Kenra Platinum Dry Texture Spray. I finally found this at Ulta. They did not have it for the longest period of time. So I finally found it. I love this stuff. It's amazing and it'll help your hair have the texture and volume that you really want. So I will be using that, and I used my NuMe wand. This is the fattest one that they have. I don't know the millimeters right now. It's not on the wand. I did use this as well. The only thing I really did when I dried my hair, I did use a curler, a round brush, and round brush my bangs forward like this. Pulled it out, and then when I went like that, it was very volumized. I did do that. Other than that, I didn't do anything special. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl my hair and show you all how I did it. It's nothing intense. The only thing I did do was make sure that I did it in sections, that I did a top and a bottom, because I wanted to make sure it would last all day. So I did section it off just a little bit into a top and a bottom section. So once I pinned up my hair into two sections, I did like take my flat brush and just kind of tease the underneath a little bit. Nothing too intense, but just to get that volume, I did tease it a little bit. So like I mentioned, I wanted it super volumized. Now it's kind of sticky, and then that's when you want to play with it. I didn't comb mine out much before I left because, again, I wanted it to last a really, really long time. Alright, so this is basically what my hair and makeup looked for my wedding day. I hope that you all enjoyed this little tutorial. I know it was quite long and intense, but this is absolutely everything I did for my wedding day. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check back for more videos, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.